Okay. Good evening, guys. I hope my sound is clear. So we're just going to go straight into the business of the day. Those that will be late, I think they'll find us along the way. So, looking at gold, looking at the monthly time frame, I still buying range that I have on gold. Um, I still have this buying range that I have on gold. I'll just mark the level just here. This whole block, like from here to there, is still a buying range. So if they're going to do any pullback, they can do it within that buying range and not necessarily break below it. That's according to the monthly. Now, according to weekly, we have we have bullish market structure which is still playing, where you can see from the left side that was higher, low. Then price pushed all the way to the upside, made that high. So we haven't had really a proper low as yet, according to what we are seeing on the weekly. So according to the weekly, also I also have some beautiful price action that has happened because here, if you look at this candle here, they took out the high of that and they took out the low of this candle which took out this previous. So potentially based on this, what they've done on the weekly, checking out this low, and now we have this bearish candle. It's sort of like our selling range. They can even drop and maybe come and take out this level here. So gold is looking also promising for some sales potentially after once we have proper lower time frame confirmation. So first target will be this. Then I believe second target we have the daily. Because on the daily, I think I have also a beautiful level where I'm expecting price. If it's going to come down, because yet according to the left side of things, that's a major break of structure. Then and then that's our swing higher high. So we don't have a swing higher low as it's only confirmed that it's a swing higher low after we've broken that structure up. So this is what I'm having on gold, especially on the daily. So if it's going to come down, potentially they can even come down all the way to this level of demand, on the um, which I'm seeing on the daily. There's this demand which is there, which also has a fair value gap. So if they're going to pull back, if they're going to sell, I mean, they can even sell all the way there, then fly all the way to the upside from there. So also another thing also which is confirming that as well. If you look inside structure, you definitely see that here they dropped, came, created these highs according to the daily. Then they broke that low. So they came back to this level, didn't break this high. So them not breaking this high can also be a sign that potential price can now be starting to sell. So we just now need more extra confluence because yeah, they've already started to take out some lows on the daily, blah blah blah. So we just now need more extra confluence on the lower time frame regarding this current price action which is there. So going down to 4 hour time frame, there's something so critical which has happened to price. Price was having this nice, if price was going to go all the way up with this leg to take out that, it was just supposed to give us maybe something like this. Then they come here, they respect up until they do something like this. But here now, we've taken out this internal higher low, which can be a sign of a um, potential sells to the downside. So this is a confirmation of sells to the downside. And as I said, my first target is this, which is this level here. So looking at gold, we've already started to pull back. And how far is it going to pull back? We just want to see how far some of the levels are because here with this supply zone which is there. So once price steps then begins to shift, we can actually begin to take sales on gold. You can also combine this with the idea of trend lines, the idea of what do you call this? The idea of channels whereby you can say, okay, blah blah, they broke outside of that channel, blah blah, and they're now downtrending. So you can also combine it with that as well. So looking at gold, it taking out this low can actually be a potential sign for some sales. Then from there, maybe they can even buy from there. So this is what I have on gold. Let's go down to a lower time frame again, like the 1 hour. So if you go to the 1 hour, there's something critical which has also happened where I've marked price because now we now have a change of character as well inside there, which is confirming these sells to the downside. So the broke structure there changed character nicely here. So now we are now sure that from here we are expecting gold to sell all the way. First target is here, second target is that one. So for this whole week, I think I actually have a bearish bias on gold up until they take out the levels that I've placed there. So here they they are pulling back, and here they've touched. I think they've actually touched this level here, which is a supply zone as well, or someone can call it an institutional zone, which is this all this kind of the upside. So whichever way. So they've touched that zone. We just now need to confirm now fully with the 15 minute, 5, 10, 15, and make sure that we have a proper change of character now for us to know that is this time to enter now or what. So gold is some beautiful sales for this week. Trust me. For this week, my bias on gold is strongly, strongly, strongly bearish. Even just looking at the 1 hour, while it's still on that 1 hour time frame, them now taking out or breaking these buying range to the downside can be a confirmation for sales according to the 1 hour time frame. So someone could have also used that and actually entered sales. So looking at the 15 minute, 10 minute, I believe we have some beautiful confirmation as well there. Looking at that, looking at this time frame, looking at the 10, 15 minute, we can see that we can see that let me just we can see that here we have bullish market structure. That was a high, that was a low. Then here we have this, but here they've already started to give us some bearish market structure. So here they can even come and drop once they give you proper confirmation. They can even drop from there. If price doesn't drop from here, from this level here, they can actually give you something like this. So the confirmation that you just need maybe are just 1 minute confirmations on that level to see what price will be doing. But according to 5 minutes, it actually looks like a very, very beautiful selling zone, that area, where we can see that this is a change of character here, break of structure there. Then in this case, this is our low. They can even come tap here, then drop. So we just now need to wait for proper confirmation, especially on 1 minute. If you're going to also enter using 1 minute, but this is my current bias right now on gold is actually the one that I've. So potentially price can still push further into this level, then drop. So in this case, if you're going to enter your trades, maybe using the 5 minute time frame, you can even wait for price to reach that zone. Then they take out maybe previous lows, then you can actually find yourself selling around this zone here, stop loss above here. Then, so as price will be developing to the downside, we want to find ourselves entering as many sales as possible up until our major TP down is hit. In this case, our first major TP is here. So up until price takes out those lows, we want to try by all means to catch as many sales as possible. Someone who just wants maybe to enter using even the H1, let's say even if you sell where price is now, let's say you sell upon market open for safety or for safety, if you don't want to be taken out, you can just put your stop loss above here. This is for people, especially if you're trading an account which is stable and also making sure that you don't want to be wiped out whatsoever. Someone can actually have something like this. So on gold, I'm bearish for the week. I'm bearish for the week based on what has happened here. I'm bearish so much on gold. So as I said, as price will be developing all the way to the downside, try by all means to maximize, or especially as the setups, as selling setups will be presenting themselves, you can actually um you can actually you can actually sell gold more to the downside. So just wait for proper confirmation there, then you actually strike. So this is my first entry point according to what I'm having on gold. So we just want to see what price will do on that level. Then we just hold all the way. So for gold, I'm bearish for the week. Next, let's look at US30. I think US30, I gave you a signal on Friday, of which I'm expecting the market to just continue respecting the same setup even this whole week. I think I gave you a buy on US30 on Friday. So US30, not wasting much time, going to the daily or even let's start on the weekly. You can see that price is pushing strongly to the upside. I'll try by all means to upload this video as well on YouTube so that you guys can rewatch the video and help to understand the opportunity that we are wanting. So yeah, I'm expecting US30 to create new highs, take out those highs and create new highs. Here on the weekly, we are strongly bullish. Daily, we're also strongly bullish. So just looking at the daily, where price is around there, we have our buying range, which is from this low here to the current high, which is that one. That's a buying range. And that being a buying range, um price can give us any pullback within that, then break those highs. So just now need to combine that with H4 structure. um Looking at H4, there's obviously someone can say there's a huge uh level or huge point where price can pull back onto. It can do that. It can also not do that, especially if the lower time frames would have confirmed. So in this case, if lower time frames confirm buys up there, they'll actually buy and break that. But if once you find, for example, the 15, 5, 10, 15-minute time frame, once you find price now changing character, one thing you must know is that it's not necessarily meaning that they are going to overly sell. They can just maybe be selling to come into this region, which is on the H4. So if the lower time frames, once you find the lower times is giving you a change of character, for example, the 5 minute or the 15 minute, once they have a change of character, they can even sell all the way to there. Then you have to wait for another change of gain, not to buy. So this is just an overall long-term structure. This is a long-term structure. That is only if the lower time frames change character. That's the only way they can come to this zone. If they don't, they will just confirm they're on the lower time frames and buy and break that whole thing up. So this is our first major structure for the week. Then the next structure is the current structure where price is up there. Where, as I said, if the lower time frames do not change character up there, price will just keep on buying from there. So our first major structure is this, where once the so this is how I look at scenarios. For example, if I'm going to sell US30, I have to have that lower time from 15-minute change of character. Then we can catch sales all the way to this level, right? Then if we're going to buy, we'll wait for that as well and start to buy from there. But if they decide not to come all the way there, like in this case, due to that maybe daily buying range, we now need now to go down to that lower time frame. For example, we now need to look at that H1 structure, of which in this case it was so solid even from down here. All the buys that were happening on US30 from last week, very solid last week and even last week, but one very easy buying opportunities, especially after we had. Let me just show you where exactly they began to buy. So using the 1 hour break of structure, then here this was a change. So even internally here, you could have also started to buy. Then here there were so many other buys using especially 15-minute time frame. If you go to 15-minute time frame, I believe some of these opportunities they were now so clear to the upside. So using 15-minute time frame in this case, they went up, came down. Then in this case, they took out those highs. You could have even bought. You could have even bought here. Okay. Then they went up, created this new high like that, gave a pullback like this, broke that high. Okay, broke this high. You could have bought, stop loss below, came back to this higher low point. You could have also bought from that higher low point. On this higher low point, so when I say combining confluences and all that, what you're simply doing, for example, let's say you wanted to enter this buy, besides this entry, when we can now say that we are bullish, this is a higher high, they came back all the way to this higher low. When you have a structure like this, especially on the 15-minute, how do you navigate around you entering at the correct point, making sure that you are not. So you can either use the idea of ranges, or if you don't understand the idea of ranges, you can make use of the 1 minute time frame. The 1 minute time frame, whenever a 15-minute pullback is starting, the 1 minute time frame will show you the beginning as well as the end of that pullback. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. So the 1 minute time frame will always confirm with you when the pullback begins. This is a 15-minute structure that you have, which was bullish. And to begin the pullback, they have to change character on the 1 minute. In this case, they were bullish throughout the entire time, even going up from here to there. They were bullish, which means that was you buying all the way starting from when they changed character. In this case, where did they change character to the upside on the 1 minute? I believe it was here. Changed character there, did a major pullback, did this major pullback, and even that major pullback, they also gave another change of character again, or took out highs again to the upside. So whenever they were taking out highs like that, that was the opportunity for you to enter more buys. They gave another pullback again, take out highs again, you could have bought again. So buying there, your stop loss was supposed to be below this whole entire zone. Then eventually they went all the way to the upside. Even here, going all the way to the upside, they were respecting bullish market structure, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. So to understand that on every, I don't know what mic is on. Can you please get your mic? So all the way to the upside, they were just bullish, 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 meaning all the trades that you would have ended down there, you could have logged profits on all these higher low points or added more trades if you wanted that. Then eventually they had a change of character around. So here they broke structure. It seems like also another break of structure. Then around here they changed character. So that change of character on 1 minute, don't forget that on the 15 minute, we are still bullish, okay? We're not forgetting that we are bullish. So the 1 minute change of character is just helping you to know the beginning of this pullback, okay? You can wait for the pullback to end, then you join in the buys, which is the proper way to do, because once we are bullish, can you please mute your mics, please, your mics. So the most important thing, I was talking to this other student of mine, where we're saying, I was telling him that, for example, once the lower time frame, in this case 15 minutes, is bullish like this, the best thing that you can do is just to maximize on the buying opportunities. In as much as these sells were there, but the most important thing in this case are the buys, because the 15 minute, which is your lower time frame there, is bullish. So we just want try by all means to maximize on all the buying opportunities. So in this case, you could have even waited for price to come and give you a proper change of character again on the 1 minute, which was going to be a confirmation. In this case, your confirmation on 1 minute was actually here. This is your 1 minute confirmation. So once this 1 minute is confirmed like this, even if I entered aggressive buys immediately after this candle closure above there, even if I entered aggressive buys there, my stop loss is below this low, which is this protected low. Then my TP is all the way to the upside, which is according to this 15-minute structure. This is your first TP. Your second TP, you're looking obviously at your overall structure, where you're looking maybe at the H4 structure. You want to identify other TPs above, far much above where you've entered. But beyond that, especially if you want to hold trades for long, this is one tip that you can take home. If you want to hold trades for long, for example, let's say you wanted to keep holding this for long up until there, where we now had our next pullback. So here's the thing. There's this other principle that I actually talk about in the mentorship class, where I think it's actually in one of our, is it the last year webinar or so, where I actually said how you enter the markets you can also exit the same way through which you entered. For example, let's say you entered based on a 1 minute change of character. That was the confirmation that you needed for you to buy. So meaning if I'm going to exit this buy, or if I want to maximize on this buy, I can as well wait for a change of character to the downside. Then I can decide to now exit my buys based on that. If I don't have that, I can still keep holding my buys up until the 1 minute changes. So in this case, beyond this structural TP, if the 1 minute maintains structure to the upside, or even 5 minute, let me just go to 5 minute. If it maintains bullish market structure, I can as well keep holding, because structure is still bullish. So in this case, we are this high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So by the time price is creating these higher lows, already you can even lock profits on those higher low points. You can even lock your profits on those higher low points. Here, this is your latest higher low. Then that was a higher high. In this case, they were still bullish. They were still bullish. So to understand that after even breaking this structure and giving you this major pullback that happened here, on this point, you could have even added more buys, because remember, price is still pushing to the upside, almost getting to that level of checking out that latest all-time high. So even on this point, you could have got buys as well using the 1 minute time frame as a confirmation, or if you understand the idea of ranges, or even just looking at structure, whereby you can see that price here pulled back all the way to this higher low point. You could have bought stop loss below this higher low point, then boom, they went up. But the most important thing is waiting for that candlestick confirmation. In this case, that candlestick confirmation, how it appears on 1 minute, it appears as a change of character on your 1 minute. So your 1 minute, this was your 1 minute structure. The confirmation on 1 minute in this case was simply the change of character to the upside. The change of character to the upside in this case is this one. So there, even if you entered full margin, even if you entered full margin or you entered with a higher risk, still that trade was very much confirmed because everything was actually pointing in the direction of that uh, whole momentum to the upside. So currently where US30 is, as I said, we are I think I explained fully what we're expecting and why we're expecting what we're expecting. So looking at just fast forwarding to where price is. This is my 1 hour time frame. As you can see, we have been having these break of structures with another break of structure here. This also seemed like there was a break of structure. Then here also seemed like there was a break of structure. So this is where price is currently on US30. And this line here that I have around 41,100. That's my previous all-time high. So as I said, I'm looking forward for US30 to create new major highs to the upside. So looking at the current structure here, this still a bullish market structure. If you go to 15 minute, I believe it's much more clear as well. And looking at this is our bullish market structure. They have tapped this major demand, and they are now at a higher low point, which is a higher low, which is this one. So this is still a bullish market like this. Here on this level where price is now. Where price is now, what we want the markets to give us a proper change of character to the upside. Once we have that, we can actually attack buys. So we have to look at the 5 minute because it's going to help us to guide us on that. Looking at the 5 minute, we have beautiful, interesting structure where we can see that as we are pulling back, we're pulling back in form of bearish market structure. Then here we had also a lower low, lower high. Then we broke that low, lower low. Then in this case, we took out the high. So just looking at what we have currently, this is a confirmation that is good according to 5 minute. If you're not in the buys, you can even buy upon market open. US30, you can even buy it. Your stop loss is here. This is our first trade, I think first trade of the week, because this is the signal that I gave you last week as well on Friday. So it's still the same signal that I gave you guys last week. So this is our first trade of the week, I believe. And then we just see how it plays out as price will be going all the way to the upside. So by if we find ourselves being taken out, for example, let's say because yeah, this overall structure is still bullish. Let's say they come, they take us out like this. How are you going to our next re-entry? It just has to be after waiting for a proper same thing also again like this. Then they do like this. Then they we'll still buy even after that. But here I can see already the confirmation is there. So they might not even do this other move that I'm saying it might happen. It might not even happen because we have a confirmation already according to 5 minute structure. So this is my US30 bias so far. I think I'm still where's my change of character? It seems like it's here. Then we have this. So this is what I'm expecting on US30. I'm not expecting this low to be wiped out as yet. So I'm expecting something like this, then this, blah, 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 up until we take out those all-time highs. So once you see us breaking these highs, you can now even maximize on that whole movement to the upside, just like that. So yesterday, I think I have fully explained what we are expecting. I think I've also explained on gold as well, what I'm expecting. Let's look at some of the major pairs that we have. Let's look at some of the major pairs that we have, like your which other pairs do you guys want me to look at? Because some of the pairs I don't personally, the ones that I've done, US and gold, those are the major pairs that I trade. So you can just type in the chat box there the pair that you trade, which that is not gold or that is not US30. That is also not Nasdaq because US30 and Nasdaq almost having the same structure. Which other pairs do you guys trade that we can actually analyze with you here and give you what to expect from the pair for the week? Just type the pair that you trade in the chat box, then we'll eventually look at it straight up. So as you'll be typing, I think I'll just look at GBPUSD. GBPUSD has been buying very beautifully from the beginning of this year, 2025. GBPUSD has been buying, it has been bullish. I think the last webinar, is it the last or the last of last? I don't know which webinar did we do where I think I fully explained even the whole swing buys that have been happening. So looking at this internal structure on GBPUSD, we can see that here we have a break of structure down, and it seems like it's still bearish according to this monthly time frame. So looking at that as well, we can see that here we have a supply zone that we have within the monthly time frame. We have a supply zone that we have, and we have this protected highs that we're not expecting price to take out. So GPUSD potentially can even sell upon proper lower time frame major confirmations. It can even give you major swing sells from where price is currently. Once the lower time frame is fully confirmed, it can even sell for a very, very, very long time. So the first target obviously is not all the way down here. The first target is currently it's still an internal structure target. In this case, our internal structure, this is a breakout structure there, that's another breakout structure there. So according to internal structure, our first target will be around this level here, which is this internal higher low, which is around these levels here. Those will be our first targets. Once the lower time frames gives us proper confirmations where price is currently, because that's a very, very strong level. Look at the last time it dropped so hard. Then now, once the lower time frames give us proper confirmation, so throughout the week, I will try by all means to also follow through, especially on these pairs that are presenting major swing moves to the downside. Then this one also, while it's still on GBPUSD, I remember doing a major analysis where I showed you that price came to this higher low point according to the weekly time frame, which facilitated this whole swing move to the upside up until they broke this, and even now have tapped into that region that we were talking about. So they can even stretch even all the way maybe to this, some of these supply zones that I'm seeing, or some of these fair value gaps. Price can still even push further deep into that before maybe they give us proper confirmations to drop. So this push was very, very simple and straightforward, even to the upside. All you were doing after coming to this major higher low according to the weekly, all you were supposed to do was supposed to come down to lower time frames and maximize on all the buying setups going to the upside. So how would you have maximized? Let me just remove this. How would you have maximized on that? If you go to lower time frames, for example, go to daily, go to H4. Go to H4, for example. H4, we must be able to identify a bullish. You can see a bullish, clear bullish uptrend to the upside, starting from around this region where we had a break. I think there was a break of structure there. I don't know if there was another one just below that. Break of structure there, break of structure there, break of structure. Here they broke structure and also changed, but also eventually broke, then broke, then broke. So throughout the entire time, going to the upside, I believe daily will be much clearer. Okay. So price has just been playing bullish all the way to the upside from that level. So you're just supposed to maximize on all these higher low points. If I mark all these higher low points, something so interesting, you see something very interesting on all these higher low points. If you go to a much lower time frame, we must be able to see change of characters on those levels, which were opportunities for you to scale in buys all the way to the upside. So let's go to, for example, let's go to the H1. Let's go to the H1 time frame. H1 time frame, um, starting from the bottom, starting from here, you can see that here we dropped, created that high, low, then eventually we took this out. So when we took this out through this, then we broke structure there. I think here we also did a break of structure. Then this was just a liquidity sweep. Then they closed above. So there were so many opportunities that you could have actually started to buy just using the H1 uh, as a confirmation that after that change of character, they did a pullback from here to here to here. All these were buying opportunities. And to further help you on that as well, let me just go as deep as the 15-minute. Especially, let's say, for example, in this case, the 1 hour has confirmed the change of character upside. We have a pullback. And the most important thing is for you now to incorporate the lower time frames, like your 15-minute, your 5 minute. In this case, you can see that this whole zone is an institutional zone where price can come and tap before they go up. And there's also a fair value gap there. But even the coming down, which is the pulling back to the downside, they always pull back in form of bearish market structure. So they made that low, made that high, took that out, that. So here, the confirmation that you just needed was this change of character. Once you have this, you can actually now buy. Even if you go in aggressively, especially after this confirmation happened, you could have actually made a lot of money from that move all the way to the upside. So here, this is all you needed for you to join in those buys according to 5 minute. Let me just play. So I was telling my students in the June masterclass where I was talking about the markets repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It's actually the true reality of what is going on in the market. The markets are repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. The markets are so much consistent in their movement. What is not consistent or who is not consistent are basically you as retail traders. You are the ones who are not consistent in your approach, consistent in your understanding, where you are consistently applying the same understanding over and over and over again. So when you're not consistently applying the same understanding over and over again, that's when you start to find, or you start to find yourself having inconsistent results. Inconsistent results are basically a byproduct of you inconsistently approaching the markets every time. When you're approaching the markets inconsistently each and every single time, that is what will cause you to have inconsistent or results that are not consistent. So in this case, they are pulling back again, giving you lower highs, lower lows. We just need the same confirmation again that we got on the other time that we bought, which is here. We just need the same confirmation as well here. Then we jump into those buys. So the markets are just repeating the same cycle. So I just want to fast forward to where price is so that we don't waste much time. But those that did get what I just explained now, you'll find yourself taking trades that are very, very, very good, very, very good, very, very profitable over and over again, not by chance, but by basically understanding what you're doing. So in this case, once we have that change of character like this one, we just need to make sure that we enter as aggressively or as we can, then we just maximize and hold all the way to. So these things do happen, which is this drawdown where you can have this pullback whatsoever. Then obviously they confirm again. So even this pullback, you can even enter more buys, especially upon 1 minute confirmation. You can even enter more buys to the upside. Eventually, they went all the way up, hit TP, and I think they even went beyond all of that. So this was, I think this was in, oh, this was in Jan. This was in January. I don't know why. Let me just fast forward to where price is now so that I will find a day to show you how GBPUSD has been moving all the way from January up until where it is now. I'll find a day, whether it's tomorrow or when, we'll decide just for me to show you how you could have caught all these trades that GBPUSD has been presenting throughout the entire year. So fast forward to where price is going to the 4 hour. We have a bullish market structure, and we have this institutional zone. We also have a demand inside there, beautiful demand. Price can actually come and tap there, then keep on buying. So this is our current structure currently on GBPUSD. It's still bullish according to H4. So it's still bullish, but remember they've tapped a very major significant zone. I said also they can still push to some of these levels that I marked up there. So GBPUSD, this is my structure for the new week. This is my setup on GBPUSD for this new week that we have. We can still drop. In this case, this is still a bearish range. This one candle is still a selling range according to H4, and they can give you sells nicely into this zone. Once they get there into this zone, 10, 15 minutes, you have to wait for a change of character like what I've been showing you. Then you attack buys all the way from here, hold all the way up until they take out that and go all the way to some of the levels that I marked there. So according to this is a selling range. This is the top of the selling range, so they can still give you sells. Let me go to 15 minutes. 15 minutes. This is clear bearish structure. You can see that here we broke structure, and here we haven't had a break of structure as yet. So we are still cooking that break of structure. So just looking at this, you can see that here there was almost a sweep because here it seems like this was a slight, okay, it seems like there was structure here. Or let me just go to 5 minutes where we can get a proper entry from that. Let me just mark this level as well and just leave it marked like this, just in case price decides to tap into that zone. But here they've touched a fair value gap already, so they can even drop with that. So we just need at least 5 minutes maybe to guide us much better on that, on what price is doing or what it's trying to do. So in this case, you can see that here after taking out that, after breaking that, we've started to have some bearish market structure to the downside, and combining, even looking at what you call this. Let me go to 1 hour. Looking at 1 hour time frame, price literally went up, took out those highs. Then here they actually gave some. So according to everything that we have on the table as yet now on GBPUSD, you were supposed to have maybe caught sales from here. You could have even sold stop loss above. Then now they're just dropping, and you now just now want to maximize by all means to the downside. So in this case, this was a level, and they actually dropped from that level where you could have also sold. I think this was last week on Friday. So you can wait for something like this break, then a retest, a pullback, then you can actually join in on those sales to the downside on GBUSD. So GBUSD, I'm still expecting a bearish market up until they tap some of the levels that I marked down there. So I'm still expecting the market to be bearish, just like this. Then we go all the way down. So if you find them not breaking some of these levels, sometimes it can be just to facilitate a pullback deeper than they go. So you just need to play around and watch what structure will be doing. So for GBUSD, that's it. But overall, our main structure is this one for the week. And I like how they've taken out some lows, and even here on the 4 hour, they've taken out even some of these lows. So here, this is a selling range. So that's why I'm having a selling bias around those levels. So it might not even come all the way there because of looking at the 4 hour. There's a selling range, and looking at that, seems like they actually formed some beautiful structure even around these levels here, according to 4 hour. So they might not even come all the way up there like what I marked. They might not even come all the way up there. They can actually drop from the region that they are at now. So just wait for 5 minutes to present more structures or more setups going to the downside. Then you join in. If you didn't sell last week here, just wait for the market to break and give you another proper structure to the downside. Then we just go and go like that. So if